And welcome back. So every other week I'm doing either a Magic video or a Pokemon Generation 9 speculation video. And this week it's a Magic video. I'm very animated with my hands. Let us talk about Magic. Um, and we're talking now about the potential Planeswalkers of of Kaldheim, of who we will see on the plane. And we actually got pretty much two confirmations on two of the characters that are going to be there. But before obviously, Kaya is one of them thanks to this leaked box art, bundle art. But who's the second, and then who's the theoretic third? Well, first off, I want to talk about basically how the Planeswalkers have basically been working since I want to say about Eldraine and to now. So after War of the Spark, which had God knows how many Planeswalkers in there, we went back to basically like a 3 Planeswalker model. And it seemed to work on the grounds of we have a character we know, we have characters that are native to there, and then we might have a new Planeswalker there. It's that's never 100%, but generally it was looking like that. Furthermore, up until about, I want to say, Zendikar Rising, it looked like they were kind of going with a pattern of colors. Because in Eldraine, you had Garrick, who was green-black. You had Will and Rowan, who was red-blue. And then you had, Oko, who was green-blue. That left out white from the equation. But then going into Theros Beyond Death, we had a green-white Planeswalker, and I believe it's Calyrex. We had a white Planeswalker again, Elspeth, and you had a green-blue Planeswalker, and Ashiok. That left out red. Then going to Ikoria, you had red and Lucas, red, blue, white, and then a green Planeswalker, Vivian and Narset. But that left out black. So I assumed that was the color combination they were going with. Unfortunately, Zendikar Rising completely shut that out, because that basically gave us a complete 5-color combinations there, with Nissa being now green-black, Nahiri still white-red, and a blue Jace, obviously. So it was a good theory up until then, at least. But still, looking at those, you had Will and Rowan, who were native to Eldraine, and then you had Garrick, who was a returning character that we knew, and a new character with Oko, who was kind of the villain of the arc, to some degree. Then in Theros Beyond Death, you had Calyx, who was native to and a new character. These categories can blend too. So native and a new character. Ashiok, and Elspeth, who were returning characters. Why Ashiok was still there, I'm not quite sure, but whatever. Elspeth obviously was there for the story purposes, certainly. And yeah, so that's how that worked. And then with Ikoria, you had Lucas, who was a new character who was native to the plane. And then you had a returning character with Narset and Vivian. So you had, again, it worked out. What changed to a degree, though, was with Zendikar Rising, you had just returning characters, Nissa, Nahiri, and Jace. Now, that's not to say that they couldn't. Where was I going with? That's not to say that. Kaldheim wouldn't have new characters as well. However, it's still a question of if. But if we're going with the idea that we are going to be looking at either a new character or at least a very minimum a native character to the planet Kaldheim, who is it going to be? First off, I think the more likelihood is that they're either going to be a new and native Planeswalker or a native Planeswalker, because that does seem to be the most common thing they do, is that it's a native character to that plane. You need someone who knows the plane, then you need the characters who are not introduced to the plane as well, so they either get the other character as a guide, or someone who just knows the plane better and knows the inner workings. So first off, do I think Kaya is the native Planeswalker of Kaldheim? No, I don't think she's native to Kaldheim. We don't know, to the best of our knowledge, what plane Kaya comes from. but Kaldheim does not strike me as the Kai. Kaya. There you go. Yeah, but she does not strike me as as a native of Ikoria. We saw her on the plane of Fior, if I'm not. Oh no, birthplace. Sorry, we know her birthplace. I apologize. Tovalda, which is a plane we have not come across yet. It's apparently Tavala's blue sky is covered with a rainbow-like cracks that seem to be derived from the inhabitants of the plane. Of the plane that seems to drive the inhabitants of the plane matter and matter with each passing day, which means it's a plane that is basically driving its inhabitants insane, which is kind of hilarious. But no, so Kaya we know for a fact isn't the native planeswalker. We do know, though, she will almost certainly still be black-white, which covers your black-white color pie. Then we actually, thanks to a again a box that was open and seeing some of the art on the packaging, where I was able to find out that Tibalt will be showing back up in this, and we haven't seen Tibalt technically since the well, not since War for Spark, yeah, since War for the Spark, but since the battle for I think, what was it, Absent and Restored. So yeah, Tibalt is someone who I was honestly surprised. Like, I honestly keep forgetting Tibalt even exists to some degree because he's such a low key player in a lot of things. But yeah, I guess Tibalt being here could make some sense in theory. There are demons in Norse Viking mythology. Now the question is, though, first off, why is he here? And second off, why exactly? Why exactly? What exactly his color combination is going to be? Because I believe they even say that. Who was it? Mark Reservoir has even said that theoretically, Tibalt is a bit more of a black-red character than just a red character. So I am wondering if he's going to be just straight red again, or if he will be a red-black character. Either one would make sense, because you can have, like we saw with Garrick and Oko and Eldrin, you can have lapping colors and Oko in the Scions, Helen, Elspeth, and Calyrex. So you can have colors that overlap, definitely, which now begs the final question. Who is the final Planeswalker? Well, we also know that Tibalt is a native of Innistrad, not Kaldheim. So we know that this Planeswalker is probably going to be a native of the plane. Now, this means that they're either going to be a new character who is native to the plane, or they are going to be a returning character who is native to the plane. Furthermore, what are the colors going to be for this character? Well, if we're going to theoretically fill out the color pie, then it would at most, not most, but it would at medium, and that, I think in this terminology it makes sense because we're just talking about balancing the color pie. It would be a green-blue character. So in theory, you could see Oko. There's been some alleged spoilers that it might be Oko. This might be his home plane, because we don't know where Oko's home plane is either. Oko, by the by, is a shapeshifter, believe it or not. He is, and not in the sense of like a blob that just changes form. No, it's like this. What we see Oko as is his true form. Like that is what he looks like on a general basis. But he can just change his form whenever he likes. We don't know his birthplace yet, but he does strike me as someone, because we know shapeshifters are on the plane. That is one thing we have to be aware of, thanks to those mini leaks. We know there are shapeshifters on this plane. So it might be very possible that he is, this is where he's from. So I think Oko is a legit possibility. I do find it interesting that in some of his art, he's got these strands of mana that are leaving his hand. One is green, one is blue to represent his green-blue nature, but purple's there, which would represent black, but he's not a Sultai color planeswalker. Maybe you get a Sultai version of him in this set. Should note that there aren't a lot of triple color planeswalkers. I mean, you got Bolas, you got Tameo, and you got Sarkhan, the Sarkhan Unbroken. Other than that, there are no triple color planeswalkers. I mean, you take Urza out of the equation, who's a 5-color planeswalker and an uncard. But there are no triple color planeswalkers beyond that point right now. Like, we are very low on our triple color planeswalker threshold. So that is one of those things that Wizards has very much up their sleeve right now, that they can employ triple color planeswalkers. Are we likely to get a triple color planeswalker? Probably, at least not in this set. Probably not. It's not something they do very often. They will very likely roll those guys out very slowly, because once you get into more colors, it does make it more difficult to design the card, because then you have to try to meld all the color philosophies of each color into one philosophy combination. So Oko's definitely an option. Another option for a returning character that a lot of people have been bringing up is Garruk, because Garruk he's green first off, which makes a lot of sense. He's very Viking barbarian looking. He's a hunter. And we don't know Garruk's home plane, to the best of my knowledge. Let me see right here if we could find Garruk's home plane. Or Garruk. What? Do we know Garruk's home plane? I don't think we do. And if we do, it was only lightly spoken about once. No, we do not know his birthplace. But yeah, if you get and especially like the most recent Core 21. Garruk is very much he looks like a Viking. So I think Garruk is a very strong candidate here as well. Apart from him, there's always the option of a new character, certainly. Ramaz was a character in Magic Online, or Arena or something like that. He fought Chandra on this plane. He was actually in league with Bolas. He was a Teamer color planeswalker, so he would have green-blue in there. I mean, Kiora was introduced there. She's been given a card at this point. There's some other characters I believe were introduced there and been given cards at this point. So, I mean, Ramaz is definitely a possibility. But I doubt. I mean, if they were to go another triple color planeswalker, I think unlike with like the dual color planeswalkers, which are just kind of can come and go from any color pattern, so we saturate the environment very well. Those guys, I don't think they want to just except for like known characters like Bolas. They don't want to like just repeat the well on the color pie. If they're going to make a new triple color planeswalker, I think they want to try a new color color pattern. So yeah, he's a possibility, and he would be new and possibly a native of the plane, although we're not certain about that aspect of him. Other than that, though, who else could show up in those color patterns that we know? Nissa we just had, so we're not saying Nissa. Vivian was 2 sets ago. I think we're not going to see Vivian either. Oh god, what's his name? The kid who has the dog that can grow big. Unlikely. I mean, he would probably make more sense, honestly, than some other characters, certainly. Sarkhan is at this point now straight red, so I doubt we'd see him. I'm just going off the top of my head of all the green planeswalkers. Domir's dead. Vraska's stuck on Ravnica, so you wouldn't be seeing her. I think, therefore, I mean, let me backpedal on Sarkhan real quick. He showed up as mono red in War of the Spark, and he's centered in red. But that's not to say he couldn't gain green again, because when we first met him, he was a green-red planeswalker. So take that for what that's worth. Other than that, I'm actually struggling to think of. Huatli. She's green. Don't see her showing up. She's actually likes to hang out. Her and Saheeli are pretty good friends. At least that's the implication, that they're friends and not something more. Which is fine if they are. They clearly have no problem showing same-sex relationships in this world. That's what Ral and his boyfriend are. It's like, that's fine, cool, right on. Actually, I'd be encouraged to see, because we have a gay marriage or gay relationship. A lesbian relationship would be pretty cool to see too. Hell, I know there's transgender characters in Magic too. A transgender relationship would also be really progressive, so that'd be down. I'd be down for any of that, because I've read both the War of the Spark. I own both the War of the Spark novels. I think it'd be cool. Vivian we just saw. So really, yeah, there's not much else in terms of the green palette who could really show up. In terms of the blue, there's a bit more options, but most of them probably wouldn't be showing up. Jace we just had, so that's a no-go. Tamio doesn't really have a reason for being on the plane, as far as I know. Like, even Tybalt has a reason for going wherever he goes, because he wants to spread, pain and agony and stuff like that, because it just gets him off. So it makes sense there. And she's there, Kai's there whacking spirits, so there's that. Garrick, if it's his home plane, just decided to come home, or Roko's just decided to come home. Let's see here. Tezzeret, we don't actually know where Tezzeret went. But I don't see this being the place Tezzeret showed. No, sorry. He went back at the end of the second book to confer his plans of a guild takeover with Lazav. So he was on Ravnica last we checked. Dovin's dead, so we can't do Dovin. So is Dak Faden. Ral is chilling out on Ravnica, so you're not going to be seeing Ral. It was the counterpart to him. Leon. She was part of Core 21 or 2020. The other blue planeswalker from that weird expansion set, the World Series, I think it was called. So I'm just spitballing all our known planeswalkers and options here. Wow, think words. Teferi, he's not going to show up, I don't think. Just because I don't think he has no real reason to be showing up. Again, there needs to kind of be a reason that character's there, and I don't see any reason that he would be there. Thinking words. I'm trying to go back to everything I can think of right off the top of my head. This has been blue before, but again, we just had her, and she's strictly green. Like, there'd have to be a reason she goes back from black to red, or black to blue. Hell, the only color combinations he hasn't done yet is green-white, which she could very much be, or green-red, which I could, again, very much see her. After that, I'm starting to struggle with other blue planes. Narset, again, we just had her. There's no real reason for Narset to show up. Kazmina is a new character, sure, but this doesn't seem like the place she lives. From what we're described, she's actually a teacher. It's very likely she'll show up in actually Strixhaven, because she's a teacher, first, from what we understand of her. So, and that would make sense, because that's supposed to be like 5 conflicting schools and all that. And so it would make sense for her to be in that one, not this one. Other than that, I'm drawing blanks on any other real, any other planeswalkers that would make sense for being on the plane. Ashiok, that's the only other blue character I can think of, and we still don't know what Ashiok's, where Ashiok is from. So Ashiok could theoretically be from this plane, but we also just had Ashiok pretty recently with Theros Beyond Death, even more recently than we had Garrick. So, Garrick's in Core 21, but I don't count that for recent. We're talking about like the main series sets here. Core is kind of like that in-between main series. So kind of main series, but not dealing with any story beats. But yeah, if I were to just throw my hat in the ring, it's either going to be a new character who's native to the plane, or two recurring characters who are native to the plane, and one of two returning characters who are native to the plane. In my opinion, that'd probably be either Garrick or Oko, which again, we don't have confirmation that either of them are native to the plane. I just get the impression that one of them is. But I guess we'll find out in about, actually not too much longer, because it's the 10th of December. I believe Kaldheim comes out in February, if I'm not mistaken. And we know Rosewater will be starting his spoilers for Kaldheim, as he said, after the holidays. So, which would be right around early, February 5th. So we'll actually start finding out this stuff in about a month. In about a month, we'll really start to get some information on these guys. That's my thoughts on this. Who do you think the Planeswalker... Okay, let me phrase this. Who do you think the third Planeswalker is going to be? Because we already know the first two. And I've been seeing a lot of people kind of just hate on Kaya as a character. because she, anywhere she goes, she's just killing spirits. And it's like, well, that is kind of her job description to some degree. So, although I am down to see Tybalt again. And from everything I'm at least getting in, all the inference I'm getting of this set so far, all the little bits and pieces here, I'm like, ooh, another one I might have to buy a box for. I bought a box of Commander Legends. I very much liked what I got out of there. I didn't get everything I wanted, sure, and you're never going to get everything you wanted in a box. And if you watch Totalia, what's his name? The college guy, the Totarian college guy. Oh, why can't I pronounce this word? Totarian Community College. He does make the point of saying buy singles, don't buy packs, don't buy boxes. But you see, he does it talks about it from the value perspective. I want all the things. Like, there's even cool commons, uncommons, everything in there. So for me, I actually like getting the boxes because it gives you a lot of extras that you need, and it just gives you the fun of cracking packs, man. I mean, come on. I don't play like draft or anything, but I can see the appeal of it just by cracking packs. Who doesn't, as a Magic player, love cracking new packs, man? Come on. But that's just my opinion. What's your opinion on that? What's your opinion on the Planeswalkers? What do you think of the 2 Planeswalkers we know we're getting, and then who do you think the third is? Put in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Hit that bell if you want notifications. I've got a couple videos I need to do today. So, well, most of them are being pre-recorded, but either way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.